Hello, Michael.
Good day to
Somewhere
you,
in the
Robin.
world. What
Somewhere
time
in the
is it
world.
where
I
you
am
are,
somewhere in the
Michael?
world. If I look outside, I can see the bright sunshine. I can see the pool. I must be where Chris is. I must be where. Oh, no, he pees in the pool though, so I'm at a different place.
Ah, yeah. I looking outside. I'm not seeing any pools. No,
Oh
all
yeah,
I'm seeing is grey skies, which is why I've got my Icelandic jumper on.
it is. It's very nice. You've been playing with the whales again. Not
I
playing
have
for
been.
whales, playing with
I
the
like the
whales.
fact you said that because I want our listeners to write in and tell us. I want to know the answer to a question.
Go on.
Why do um, Norwegian
Girls fall in love.
fishermen
Yeah.
and Norwegian people who live up near the Arctic who never ever see anybody, any tourists or anybody, and they spend their life fishing and whatever. Why do they speak perfect English?
Because they taught it at school.
Yeah, but no, but I, no, but I'm not. I'm not.
I know.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking. I'm talking perfect English as if they live in England. And
Where
what
do they
they do
sell
is
the
they get up
fish?
in the morning, they go fishing. They have no reason to practice English, but
But
they
have they
took.
got? Do
But
their trawlers? Do their trawlers come to England to sell the fish? Do they? I don't know.
But even if they did, they'd be like, "You want to buy some place?" And that you want to buy some place, and that would be it, wouldn't it? They wouldn't
Sorry,
be going
what accent was that?
bloody blood. It wasn't Norwegian, was it?
No. Maybe you should ask Haaland.
Haaland, yeah, exactly. Well, no, they speak better English than he does, and they're up north near the Arctic, as I said. Every morning they get up, get in a boat, go catch some fish, go home. They have no reason to speak English, but their English is perfect. Anyway, if you haven't watched the documentary on the spy beluga whale, it is amazing,
Wait,
absolutely amazing.
maybe I might have worked this out. Maybe English is a universal language sort of around the world. Maybe it is underwater as well. So
Ah,
maybe they have to
oh,
speak
they
English
speak
to the fish.
English,
The fish. That's why we do
Michael.
fish and chips on a Friday. That's why it's
You
national
are
dish.
you are a genius. Does that
Doesn't
mean all the potatoes around the world speak English as well?
No, because they are grown in other countries as well. But the water goes around the world, so the fish travel
But
around.
yeah, but the ocean. The ocean accounts for two-thirds of the
Yeah. And so
size of
did
the
our
planet.
empire. And so did the empire.
Ah, so as we went round the world empiring,
Yep.
we taught the fish to speak English.
Correct.
Do you know what? It makes absolute sense.
And that's why all the
Okay,
footballers couldn't play in England.
yeah. Should we talk about football?
Okay.
Well, we've just had the internationals, and Lee Carsley
Yep.
went out on a high, didn't he?
Yeah,
We
I thought
are
he did. I only watched a bit of the second game, and I thought the first game, yeah, all right. But I did like the fact that he's played young players. I love the fact that no one knew who that guy played for Southampton was, and I still can't
apart
think of his name.
apart apart from Roy Keane's future son-in-law.
And even Roy Keane has said things do change in the Keane
Things
household.
do change in our household, yeah. Because one of the commentators went, "Well, you do realise he scored on his debut, Roy. It took you 3 games." And he's like, "Yeah, you'll probably be bringing that up over Christmas." No, I know. Everyone's messaging going, "Who's this bloke?
Yeah,
Just come on in an
but
England shirt." It's like
yeah, I thought it was quite
he's
nice.
won a competition,
Yeah, I thought it was quite. Yeah, that's another.
a competition winner.
That was a podcast I listened about that player who played for Southampton, who came on and played for Southampton, didn't he? Under Graham Souness. But I watched a bit of it, the game, and I thought they played all right. And I did like the fact that they've done new players, and I have got a picture that I found. I had to, well, found, I've nicked off someone of Harry Kane in the first half when he
Okay.
wasn't playing. There's a picture of Harry Kane in the
In
dressing
the
room.
dressing room. So for anybody just listening to this nonsense,
Are they listening
there's a
in black and
picture of
white?
Harry Kane sitting next to his shirt and his boots in the changing room because this is the man. This is the man who complained about the players. Oh, these players are dropping out. And you should want to play for their country. Blah blah blah. Well, mostly those players that dropped out were injured, all taken off towards the end of games. You know, Palmer at Chelsea, Saka, Arsenal, Rice is injured, got a broken toe. They pulled out. They didn't pull out because they didn't want to play for their country. They pulled out because they probably weren't fit enough. And Harry Kane, everyone forgets, gets a month off at Christmas because he plays in Germany. He doesn't have to play 5 games a week for the rest of the season. He's going to be off in, putting his feet up in Dubai or somewhere nice and sunny. So I have absolutely zero sympathy for him. And when he comes on, he looks like what he is, an old cart horse. Anyway, I'd rather have Ollie Watkins, and I'm not a Villa fan, but I like Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I'd go with that. But I just read there's 4 or 5 teams have got 9 games in December without the Carabao Cup. So just league games they've got without the Carabao Cup, and he gets a month off. Cheeky little bastard. But do you know what you get for being like that? For being, vocal and stuff like that? You get a statue that looks fuck all like you.
So again, for our listeners, there is a picture of Michael actually in the middle. He's very handsome with his big large polo. Are we sponsored by Polo this week?
We are this week, yes.
Ah, fantastic. And I'm sponsored by Norwegian Fishermen. Okay. Oh. And I've got their accent off to a T. Anyway, either side of Michael are 2 Harry Kanes, one in bronze and one not in bronze. And it's hard
one to spray tell. Bronze, one bronze.
It's hard to tell which one's which, but I have to say, I love that statue because you're right. It reminds me of somebody else. It doesn't remind me of Harry Kane.
It does. It reminds us of someone else, but I don't know who the hell it is. Oh, is it the guy?
Some serial killer?
No, who's the actor out of Beverly Hills Cop? The white detective.
Oh, the white detective. Yes, it does. Yeah, but he also looks like name. He could be in Trump's new cabinet alongside all the other dysfunctional people he's hiring.
Or a Cray twin or something. There's just something about him that looks like so many other people.
Half a Cray twin.
Yeah, but
anyway,
it's nearly as bad as the Ronaldo one.
In case they come visitors. I think the thing is, Michael, when someone says to you and I, we're going to cast you in bronze and create a statue, I think we just say no.
Yeah, and I think footballers should learn.
They'll never capture our likeness. They'll never capture how terribly handsome we both are. It's
the beard that they'll fail with.
The beards, they'll never capture any of that. So I'm kind of thinking that we shouldn't bother.
No.
So if anybody's listening who wanted to actually create statues of Michael and I, that's very kind of you, but we'd like to decline.
And you'd have thought they'd learnt after that Ronaldo one, wouldn't you? The Ronaldo one that looked like a fish. It was just weird.
We're back to fish again. English-speaking fish.
Yeah. And while we're talking about Harry Kane, by the way, I've found a picture because he said he wants to carry on to the Euros. And unfortunately, the top of the head's missing off this one, but there is a picture.
The Euros are after the World.
There is a picture of Harry Kane of what he's going to look.
It doesn't look a lot like Harry Kane, but it does look like what he might look like when he's about 70.
I think it's Bill Bailey, to be honest. Actually, it's probably like that. Do you think it's me?
It could be you.
It could be
you, Michael.
I'm playing for England.
It's me looking at you. You're looking at me, Michael.
Bless.
Harry Kane has got to survive to the World Cup in 2026, and then the Euros won't be until 2028, something like that. So by then, his legs will have fallen off. I think.
Well, I must admit, I don't know a lot about football, as people will obviously gather, but he doesn't look very quick. Whenever he's running for the ball, the defenders sort of just jog alongside him. He really looks slow.
That amazing ball.
Oh, he is. He's a hodl player. He needs to go back into midfield.
That Irish game, 0-0 at halftime. That was going 0-0. That was a nailed-on 0-0 until he put that ball through, and Bellingham skipped past the guy in the box. He brought him down, and the guy got sent off. That was the turning point of that game. And then England went on to win quite easily 5-0. That was, I think, it was the turning point. I think England would have started to panic had it gone another 10 minutes without England scoring.
He needs to go a little bit backwards in the position, have someone else in front of him. He can be the playmaker, be up there as well, but he needs to be like a Glenn. He can kick the ball accurately, be a Hoddle or a Beckham or something like that.
to retire.
That's the two names. By the way, that's the only two names I can think of. I just thought I was doing quite well there.
Hoddle and Beckham. Yeah, very good. Very
I
good,
didn't say
Michael.
Hoddle and Waddle. I said Hoddle and Beckham. But Hoddle and
Lucky
Waddle,
wins. There's
Hoddle
three
and Waddle,
now.
Diamond Knights. Remember that?
Yes.
That's fine.
I've got to say, it's lucky. It's lucky that you know so much about football.
Oh, it is. It's well, without me, this podcast would have no listeners. Maybe it does.
Absolutely zero. It would
Mm.
go. It would go down from one listener to zero listeners.
Yeah, even the dog wouldn't listen to it, would he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is happening in football this week? Him?
Oh yes, of course. So Manchester United have a new manager. So they sacked Eric Ten Hag, who won them
Eventually.
2 trophies in 2 seasons. And they brought in the Portuguese wonder star who has turned Sporting Lisbon round from being a nothing team into a champion winning team and playing in the Champions League, who just recently beat Manchester City 4-1, I think. And his name is Amoral. No, Amorim.
Go on, you can read. Go on, you can read it on the screen.
That's so close to Amoral. So there's pictures. Michael's got a picture of him up with his shirt. How's he going to do at Manchester United?
Well, he's starting off playing. Is it Leicester or Ipswich they're playing this weekend?
You probably Ipswich. Leicester are kicking off our Saturday game
Chelsea.
12:30 versus Chelsea. So anybody who's in the fantasy league needs to lock their team by 11 a.m. GMT.
Yeah,
we have lots
Ipswich.
of listeners from all over the world, as you know, and lots of English-speaking fish are listening in to our podcast. That's probably where our audience is.
I'll try to think.
Fish.
We've got a lot of support around. Yeah, we've got a lot of support around Grimsby area.
Yeah, your guy looked quite good when he came on. Ramsey when he came on for England,
and he's just signed a longer contract for Villa, so that's good.
So talking about Villa, right? Did you see one of the owners said something in the papers this week, something along the lines of this whole City investigation? We should just forget about it and carry on.
I wonder why.
What's he hiding? What? And Pep's just signed a new contract, meaning he's obviously been told by the FA, don't worry, you won't be playing in the 4th division of the Scottish League.
Although that would be funny.
That to you.
That would be funny, though, wouldn't it? Come out if he signed a new contract and they go down to the Championship. Oh.
Well, no, they'd have to go lower. They'd have to go down to, I think, well, ideally they go to non-league, but they'll probably put them down to League 2.
Yeah, but you can't.
League 2, League 1. What?
But if you say they got given 100-point deduction, they'd still only go down 1 league.
No, not about point deduction. Glasgow Rangers were dropped down to the lowest tier in the Scottish League, which I think was Division 2, and they worked their way. They got back, obviously, but you know. The teams loved it because they're normally playing in front of 3 people on a Saturday afternoon, and Glasgow Rangers turn up with 30,000 people.
I'll tell you what, though, it'd be funny.
Stadium.
Can you imagine, though, the likes of Grealish and all the Man City players, Haaland, who keep tripping over blades of grass, going, "Oh, I'm injured," "Oh, it's a foul," or whatever. Can you imagine them playing in some rut-holed pitch on a in the second
think you'll
division?
Find the quality of pitches in the lower leagues has improved, Michael, but it's not so much the pitches, it's the cart horses that are known as defenders that don't really understand the art of defending other than running through you. So I feel that there will definitely be a lot of crying, but I don't think a lot of those players will stay around. I'm sure their agents were smart enough to put in their contracts, should City be relegated due to financial misgivings or whatever else they're being charged with, my player is allowed to leave.
Well, Clive's just put a message out on the WhatsApp group saying super bench boost Clive. Don't know what the hell does he mean by that?
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
I've just
super
got
bench boost Clive.
Yeah, it's just come up with the WhatsApp group. I was just thinking if it was a funny message to say, but I don't quite understand it.
No, well, he's a Liverpool.
Is that because he's been? Is that because Clive's been in the pool peeing in the pool too much?
He could have been. He's a Liverpool fan, so we can't really listen to anything he says. Now, is the Liverpool reign going to end? See, I've got my ticket for Arsenal on Saturday, and we're playing Forest, who are playing brilliantly, by the way.
Yeah, they are
But
doing very
I'm
well. I'm
feeling
glad to see that.
very confident now that Arsenal are going to make a run for it. We're a little
Not
bit
against. I
behind,
don't know
but
about Forest. Against Forest, do you reckon? I don't know about against
no, it's
Forest.
going to be a tough one. It's a tough one.
Hmm.
Last season, it was the opening game of the season when they weren't so good, and we went 2-0 up and we were cruising. Then they scored one with about 5 minutes to go, and all hell broke loose. The panic
Yeah.
went through Arsenal defense, like ah. But I feel confident that it'll be a 2-0 victory on Saturday.
See, I think there's lots of like the last couple of weeks have been iffy on whether you're going to get points or not. 'Cause there's been some very close games, but this week you got Leicester, Chelsea, so you're going to have Chelsea players in. Arsenal, Forest. I think that's a hard one. Villa, Palace is probably hard. Bournemouth, Brighton. That'll be Brighton. Everton, Brentford. Man City, Spurs. But you got Southampton, Liverpool, Man United, Ipswich. I mean, do you have to start
Well,
putting a
yeah.
lot of
I
Man
mean, if you
United
go,
players in?
if you work backwards, Man United are going to beat Ipswich.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I think it's going to be a 7-1. I'm going
be a
7-1, new
disaster
manager.
if they don't. Liverpool will thrash Southampton.
Mhm.
Tottenham, Man City is an interesting one because Man City have lost 4 games on the bounce.
Yeah, what a
Tottenham
shame.
lost to Ipswich last time out. You've got to put your money on Man City bouncing back, but Tottenham are their bogey team.
Have you seen how many? Have you looked at the league to see how many people have actually got rid of Haaland? There's
Yeah,
quite
I
a lot.
got rid of him.
Yeah.
I got rid of Haaland today, put Isaac in, and got rid of somebody in midfield and put Salah in.
Well, I
Yeah,
got rid of him 3 weeks back, 3 week sessions back, and Salah last week scored more got points than Haaland had in the previous 3. And
amazing.
yeah, I mean, getting rid of him has been a good move. But I've got at the moment now my midfield. I've got Mbemo, the Brentford, Palmer, and Saka. All are they playing?
They're all but
I
they'll
think they
all
will.
play. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think they will.
Palmer and Saka will definitely play because they've had 2 weeks off. I don't know about Mbumo. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what if it's a real injury or not. A lot
I
of
don't know
people
how
are dropping him though because he's done better than expected the last few weeks, and they feel that
Mm.
that's going to run out. Same as
But,
Chris Woods. A lot of people are dropping Chris Woods
yeah,
now.
I mean, my midfield is Saka, Palmer, Salah, and Mbeumo, and you think, why am I not top? They're the top 4 for the midfield. And you go, why am I not top? And I've got Watkins, Welbeck,
Well benched.
And Woods up front. And you think, why did I go down this week?
I know. I did. Oh, I thought I did all right, and I went down a place. I am
Yeah,
now
but you're
still.
used to that.
I'm 60th, I think, in a league of 87
Do
or
you
something.
realise between our 3 teams, the only team that went up was the Diamond Dogs? And for some reason, you didn't captain Salah, you stupid bugger.
Oh dear. Anyway, what other nonsense is there, Michael, or shall we end it now? Shall we
That's about
shall
that.
we
The only thing
save
I've got
our
to,
listeners? Shall we save our
yeah,
listeners a part
yeah.
of their life?
The only thing I've got to try and do now is look at my team and work out how I want to put Bruno in. Fernandez, I hate the bloke, but I want to put him in because I think they're going to spank at the weekend. But the only way I can
Yeah.
do that is by taking Wemo out. But he's not. I don't have enough money then, so I don't know. So I've got a bit of a.
Well, I don't know how to help you there, Michael. If you don't
Uh,
have enough money to do what you want to do, you can't really do what you want to do.
what trophy actually?
I took -8 points this week because I looked at my opponent in our European Cup game, and I'm up against Steph, who's been getting more points than me every week. So I thought, well, I'm going to lose that anyway. So I might as well make the changes I need to make to at least have a better team for the coming weeks. So I've
Yeah.
sacrificed my European Cup, probably sacrificed my chance of being in the knockout stages. So there you go. Never
Yeah, I
mind.
don't know
I'll
what to
just
do. I don't know
carry
what to do.
on.
I'll just sit here and look at my team and go, what am I
I'll
meant to
just fiddle
do?
the algorithms back in my favor.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So we got because we got a new leader at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah.
Because
Aye, go on.
the lovely Cara has been knocked off the top place.
Oh, gone down fourth. She's gone down 4 places. Well, blimey.
I know. We now have Mark as top. Now, Mark, just
No,
to
we
put
don't.
this into
It's
perspective,
Julian.
Mark's my brother-in-law.
Hang on, it's
And
Julian.
Mark,
It's not Mark, it's Julian.
is it Julian?
Julian Skills, yeah. He's 701.
Why?
Mark's
Why am I?
693. He's 8 points ahead of Mark.
Do you know it's really funny? On my phone, it has Mark in first and no Julian at all. I thought it was Julian. That's okay. Julian's an Arsenal fan. He's a wonderful guy. He's one of my boot camp buddies, and he deserves to be top. My brother-in-law,
he was 85 points. I'm just looking. He was second. He's about second in points last week, or second, third equal. He did well. He got a lot of points last week. Yeah.
you know why? Because I was looking at the Money League. Mark's top of the Money League.
Ah, you silly Billy.
Oh, Marky boy. Well, it's all right. I've got the money in my bank. I won't be paying Mark, so don't worry about that. Yeah, no, you're right. Julian is 8 points. It's so close though that I think we're going to have revolving leaders for some time.
Well, one thing for sure, it
Where
won't
are you?
be us.
Where are
I'm
you?
34th. Gone right down again.
34. We have 3 players in the league, and they're all called change name, meaning they have to change their name because obviously they came up with a terrible name. But we still have James. We haven't mentioned James this week. We have James, who's in 24th in the league, whose team's called Syphilis United, and he hasn't been given a change name. How does that happen?
Well, syphilis is a word. It's not a rude word. It's just a word.
No,
Maybe
I suppose it's a disease. Michael.
Maybe it's a pet that he's got. Bloody hell! I've just seen where Bill is as well. He's 26.
That's terrible.
He's gone down though. Yeah. But syphilis
I've
is
got
just
Bill's. I got Bill's ticket this weekend. I haven't given him any money.
Shh! Don't tell him you haven't paid.
Don't
tell him that.
Yeah. Right.
Bill's probably in the box.
Let's go and do some. As it's evening somewhere, as we've both been working a full day. I think it's the cocktail hour, Michael.
Yes. Well, by the way, is Bill in the box with Starmer this weekend?
I think he probably is.
Probably.
Are you?
The circles.
Do you have to say something about your sponsor? Do you have to give a little plug to Polo or not, or does it not matter?
No, it's just a jumper that I got out of the wardrobe, so don't worry. Hello, Polo. We're going to play. We're going to do fantasy polo next year. Yeah.
I'm not fantasy polo. I'm not going to give a shout out to my Norwegian fisherman who made my Marks and Spencer's jumper, of which 9 million other people will have exactly the same jumper.
And the beluga whale probably got one as well.
The beluga whale. You've got to watch that documentary. I have to say, it is absolutely amazing. But then just be amazed at the Norwegians all speaking perfect English.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on that, hurdy-gurdy, guddy-guddy.
Yes. Goodbye.
Goodbye, hurdy-gurdy. Au revoir.